Have you ever wondered why some men, without wealth, status, or even conventional good looks, hold a woman's attention effortlessly, while others, no matter how much they try, remain unnoticed or easily forgotten? History is filled with men who seemed to have everything: fame, power, success, yet they lost the woman they cherished the most. Meanwhile, there are men, quiet and unknown, whom women fight to keep. Why? What is this invisible force that makes a woman feel lucky to have you? Most people believe attraction is about charm, grand gestures, or the right words. But the truth is, attraction is not something you create. It's something you become. Psychologists have uncovered something fascinating. Women don't just fall for what a man says, they fall for how a man makes them feel. And that feeling? It has little to do with superficial traits and everything to do with a man's presence, strength, and perceived rarity. The question is, how do you cultivate these qualities? How do you become the man who is not just wanted, but deeply valued? In this video, we'll break down the psychology of attraction. What truly makes a woman feel like she has found something rare? You'll learn the silent signals that make a woman see you differently, the one mindset shift that changes how people perceive you, the hidden reason why most men lose a woman's admiration without even realizing it. By the end of this video, you won't just understand attraction, you'll know how to become the man she never wants to lose. Welcome to NeuroVista, where we decode the hidden forces of attraction and relationships. If you're ready to see the world differently, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Now, let's begin. Strength of character, the foundation of all things. A man's worth is not in the gold he owns, the car he drives, or the words he speaks to impress. These things shine for a moment and then fade, like sand slipping through open fingers. But character, that is the one thing that cannot be taken, cannot be borrowed, and cannot be faked. She does not admire the man who waits at her feet, hoping for a moment of her time. She admires the man whose time is already full of purpose, of discipline, of something greater than the need for her approval. A man who respects his own time makes others respect it too. And a man who values himself does not seek permission to be chosen. Look through history, and you will find that women did not fall for men who begged. They fell for men who stood, men with unshakable presence, men who did not bend to every whim, men who moved forward with or without validation. Why? Because certainty is rare. A man who knows who he is, who does not waver, becomes impossible to ignore. Self-respect is the first pillar. Without it, even the strongest man becomes weak, twisting himself to fit where he does not belong. Discipline is the second. A man without control over himself has already lost. And clarity of purpose is the third. Without direction, a man drifts, easily replaced, easily forgotten. Most men try to prove their worth by seeking admiration. The wise man understands. Admiration is a byproduct of strength. What is rare is sought after. What is disciplined is respected. And what is truly valuable never needs to beg to be noticed. Presence over words. The power of stillness. Most men believe they must speak to be noticed, that the right words, the clever remarks, the grand stories will win admiration. But words are like the wind, carried away, forgotten, replaced by the next voice that comes along. Presence, however, lingers. A man who knows how to be still, how to be fully there, leaves an impression that no words ever could. Many speak to impress. Few listen to understand. And fewer still know how to let silence do the work for them. A woman does not remember the man who spoke the most. She remembers the man who made her feel heard. A man who listens, not passively, but with the weight of his full attention, commands respect without needing to demand it. In a world where everyone is eager to speak, to prove, to interrupt, stillness is power. A man who does not rush to fill every gap with words creates an aura of certainty. He is not seeking approval, nor is he afraid of being misunderstood. He is comfortable with silence because he does not fear himself. Watch closely, and you'll see it. The ones who move with quiet confidence do not need to convince. Their presence is the proof. A glance, a pause, a measured breath, these small things say more than rehearsed lines ever could. Silence, when used with intention, speaks louder than charm. It allows curiosity to build, makes every word that follows matter more. The man who understands this does not chase attention. He draws it, not with noise, but with the weight of his presence. The strength to lead, the wisdom to support. A man who seeks control over others is not strong. He is afraid of losing, afraid of being seen as weak, afraid of not being enough. And a man who submits to everything, who sways with every passing wind, is not kind, he is directionless. Strength is neither in ruling over nor in kneeling before. It is in walking forward, steady and sure, whether anyone follows or not. A great man does not ask to be followed. He does not force, beg, or manipulate. He simply moves, with purpose, with direction, with clarity. And in doing so, he creates something far more powerful than obedience: trust. A woman does not admire the man who demands her attention, nor the one who pleads for it. She admires the one who commands respect, not through words, but through being. What does this look like? It is the calm presence in the storm, the man who does not crumble under pressure, nor create it for no reason. It is the man who can make a decision, not out of arrogance, but out of wisdom. It is the man whose presence makes her feel safe, not because he is forceful, but because he is certain. Most believe strength is in dominance, in proving oneself, in showing superiority. But true strength is something quieter, something deeper. It is not in loud voices, in raised tempers, in stubborn pride. It is in the ability to bring peace to those around you. A man who is at peace within himself is a man who cannot be shaken, and that is the kind of man who draws others near. She does not feel lucky because you control her, nor because you give yourself up entirely to her will. She feels lucky when she looks at you and sees someone steady, someone who does not waver in the face of difficulty, who does not seek validation in her approval, but whose value is already set within himself. To lead is not to dictate, it is to know where you are going, to know what matters, to know when to be strong and when to be soft. A man of true strength does not ask, "How do I make her follow?" He asks, "How do I make her feel safe walking beside me?" Rarity, becoming the man few can replace. What is common is overlooked. What is everywhere is ignored. A thing loses its value when it is too easily given, too easily found, too desperate to be noticed. But what is rare, that which is rare, is treasured. Most men seek approval. They bend, they chase, they shape themselves into whatever they believe will be most liked. But a man who needs to be liked will never be respected, and a man who lives only to please will never be remembered. Women do not long for what is easy to have. They long for what is worthy, and worth is never found in desperation. A man who knows this does not throw himself at every opportunity for validation. He does not stretch himself thin, trying to be everything for everyone. Instead, he stands firm in who he is, letting the world adjust to him. Consider this: a diamond does not beg to be chosen. A mountain does not lower itself to be noticed. They are valued because they are, not because they seek to be. A man who understands this truth stops running after attention. He becomes the kind of man whose absence is felt, whose presence is valued, because he does not make himself endlessly available to those who do not deserve him. To be rare is not to be arrogant. It is to be selective with your time, your energy, your presence. It is to know that not everyone deserves access to you, that your attention is not a free gift, but something to be earned. The less you seek to impress, the more impressive you become, because a man who does not seek permission to be valuable already is. Gratitude, the overlooked power of attraction. A man who is never satisfied is a man who is always chasing. No matter how much he gains, it is never enough. No matter who he is with, he wonders if there is someone better. He mistakes longing for ambition, restlessness for strength. But a man who sees what he has, who values what is before him, he is the one who is truly rich. A woman does not feel lucky simply because she is pursued. She feels lucky when she is seen, not just for her beauty, not just for the surface of her presence, but for the things most overlook: her thoughts, her laughter, her way of seeing the world. Most men admire what is obvious. Few take the time to notice what is rare, and fewer still express it with sincerity. Gratitude is not a tactic. It is not a charm to be used, nor a performance to be perfected. It is a way of being. A man who moves through life with gratitude carries something different about him. He does not look at the world with hungry, dissatisfied eyes. He is not always searching for what is missing, but instead, he sees the worth in what is already there. A man like this does not take love for granted. He does not expect attention, nor does he demand affection. He appreciates, and because he appreciates, he receives. The more he values, the more valuable he becomes. Most men think attraction is built through effort, through proving, through showing off what they can offer. But attraction, real attraction, is often built in the quiet moments. A glance of recognition, a word of appreciation, an understanding deeper than words. Gratitude is what turns ordinary into extraordinary. It is what makes someone feel irreplaceable. To give gratitude is not to seek a reward. It is to live in a way that makes every moment, every connection, something worth keeping. If you seek to make her feel lucky, you have already lost. Because the moment you try to convince someone of your worth, you reveal that you are still uncertain of it yourself. A man who is truly valuable does not chase. He becomes. He does not ask to be chosen. He makes it clear through his actions that his presence is a gift. Strength, wisdom, and gratitude. These are the forces that draw people in, not desperation, not games, not hollow displays of confidence. Women do not feel lucky to be with a man who needs them to complete him. They feel lucky when they stand beside a man who is already whole, a man who does not waver in his values, a man whose presence brings both steadiness and excitement. You have a choice: blend in with the many, or stand apart as the few. The world is filled with men who try too hard to be liked, but the man who knows himself, who leads with quiet certainty, who carries himself with strength and grace, he is the one who is remembered. If this resonated with you, if you want to become the kind of man who does not need to prove his worth, then like this video and leave a comment below. Let us know what lesson spoke to you the most. And if you seek to master the deeper psychology of attraction, if you want to understand the principles that make a man truly unforgettable, then subscribe to NeuroVista and turn on notifications. Because here, we don't teach you how to chase. We show you how to become.